Hello again, Struckweb. Today I'm back and this time with a little bit of Wolcen Words of Mayhem. So yeah, I saw some people showing interest in the game and asking me regarding some builds, whether my old builds are still viable. And well, if any of them is watching this, I could tell them, I could give them some advice about certain skills that are worth picking and playing with. Maybe tomorrow I could make a build video of the setup that I'm currently playing, which is kind of like a reworked version of my Immortal Havoc Golemancer, but instead of with triple golems I'm using it with single golems, and there are some reworks in the passives, like for example this one was not fixed back when the Havoc Golemancer was first made, so this one was not used back then, and I think back then I probably didn't use the Neuro Cord. I'm not sure, I need to check my old build video, but in any case this is what I'm running right now at level 82. There are things you can remove, of course. I think the one thing you can sacrifice would be some crit chance, crit damage, stuff like that while leveling up. Those you can sacrifice. You can sacrifice that point while leveling up. And another thing you can sacrifice while leveling up is this thing here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels. So that would get you 71, 72. So at level 72 you can have everything but this and those points here. And 72 is super fast and easy to reach, so pretty quick setup. Of course, eventually once you are 72, I would suggest get this one first, get those points here, and then eventually get this, and after that you might even consider getting some more crit damage as you level up. Some more block chance maybe would also be nice. There's some things you can get. Where was it? In general, level 80 is more than enough. Even level 75 shouldn't be a problem to play this build with without some of the skill points. So without further ado, let's... Oh, that's actually a nice ring. Fuck, that's actually a very nice ring. Damn, I'm keeping this. I'm keeping that one there. I was just about to sell it. Thankfully there's buyback, so even if I sold it, it would have been fine. And also, if anyone wants to team up, play together, now's your chance. Ooh, look at this beauty. Elemental damage, then 2 times flat elemental, which is frost and whitening in this case, and some resists and some more resists. Damn, I'm getting some nice yellow items. Let's check those here. I'm gonna do this boss map quickly for a warm-up. Just a little bit of boss fighting. And I need to remember where I placed my orbs. Number 5, okay, orbs in number 5.
What do you want?
There we go. Okay, I think the streams are running fine. I was just quickly checking if everything was okay. It seems to be. So expeditions it is. Like there's anything else to do in the game other than expeditions. Unfortunately there isn't right now. I mean, just those special Uber bosses or whatever they are. But that's kind of it. So yeah, this is what I like running. If someone is interested in seeing more skills and how viable they are, just tell me the skill and I can quickly make a build with it. I don't have much affinity, but I can quickly farm some affinity so that I can respec a few times. I'm gonna be streaming for like 2 hours and 20 minutes from now. So we've got time until half past midnight. We've got time. Rage R7 wants to see Anvil Swow. Well, for Anvil Swow I can just do it without changing my build. Yeah, my build actually is centered around projectile damage with this thing here, and I'm gonna be losing. I'm gonna be. Well, I'm not gonna be winning. Let's say I'm not gonna be losing, but I'm not gonna be winning melee damage bonuses. But I can change up. I can play a little bit of Anvil Slow. In fact, I can do Anvil Slow just by equipping it, and it's still gonna work. It's just not gonna work as good as the other setup, because my rage is for Anvil Slow I need more rage, or like let's say rage preservation. You can see with Anvil Slow it worked, but it's not Anvil Slow that gives me the damage. It's Mark of Impurity. It's this thing that's giving me the damage. I think this shouldn't be in the game. I think if they want to allow for more build variety, first they need to remove this from the game or nerf it, and then boost everything else. Boost everything else. Boost fucking Slayer's Fury. Boost things like Wrath of Buffet. Boost things like Gunslinger Brand. It seems strong but not strong enough. Still, Dead Gazer still doesn't seem strong enough. The turrets are nerfed to oblivion still. Wailing Arrows is actually pretty strong, but still not my preferred choice. This seems pretty weak right now. I mean, everything I've tested, and I've tested everything, has been pretty weak other than the few good skills like Bleeding Edge, the Spin to Win skill, of course Anomaly and Plague Burst, amazing combo. Havoc Corp is pretty nice. So I think Consuming Embers, Arctic Spear, and Annihilation and Thunderstrike would need a buff. Tear of Ethelio seems pretty strong, but okay, I'm gonna play a bit of Anvil Slow now. You wanted Anvil Slow? Here it is, a bit of Anvil Slow. You wanna see damage numbers? Let's show you damage numbers. I don't like them on the screen. Let's show you only the crit damage. Let's just show you the crit damage only. Most of the damage I do is crit anyways. There should be an option to maybe... I mean, I've always been saying that this game really needs an option to reduce the amount of text on screen. So instead of 1000, it should say K. So 200k or 186k, 600k, then for million 1.62 m, 2.35 m, etc.
That can't be done.
Something like that would allow for a much better experience. This is what I like about Chaos Bane. They have reduced the amount of text on screen from damage numbers by doing the KM thing. I'm not sure how to call it, like shortening, like, let's say a number shortening. So yeah, Anvil Slow can work well, but mind you, if I were to go for Anvil Slow setup with this, and I could, if I want to, I could, this is pretty flexible setup, the Golem Mancer. What I would do is for Anvil Slow I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points removed, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, not this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5 points here. And that would be nice. Rage cost decrease, rage cost decrease. This would be nice. Rage generation on kill. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. I need 8 points. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's keep that one. So if I were to rework this for Anvil Slow, remove those 5 points, remove 1, 2, 3 points here. Keep that one. Because it's nice, it's crit chance and damage. You can remove that point and then invest it here or invest it somewhere else, but I definitely think you would want this thing if you're going for Anvil's Woe.
I need more power.
And there's some elites here that I didn't kill. Let's kill them. So this is the good thing about the Golemancer setup. It's super flexible and it could be played with any damage skill you want. You can play it as a warrior, you can play it as a pure mage, you can play it as a ranger, whatever you want to play it as, play it. It's not gonna be super strong, but it's good enough. It's good enough to farm you the best items you can get, and the best items in the game are not level 187 but are level 163. Why? Because it's cheaper to upgrade and it gives you the same amount of stats. So the only thing that that 187 expeditions is better for is XP. It gives you more XP and slightly more wood quality, slightly more magic find. So if you're farming for items, it's better to farm level 163 items because they're cheaper to upgrade. No other reason. 187 items are definitely not gonna be stronger. So yeah, tomorrow I can maybe upload a build video for the Havocorp version of this. For the Havocorp version of this that I've been playing for the past month or so, I can probably make a build video just because people were asking me if some of my builds are still viable. Let me go back to Havocorp.
Not right now.
Let's do this. Kind of what this build lacks is single target damage. So when there aren't any enemies to explode around the boss, we're not gonna do that much damage. But when there are more enemies around the boss, we can explode. It's faster. I mean, I can still kill it and I can still survive. And by the way, this build got nerfed badly. From 59,000 HP, I'm down to like 30,000 HP. So I'm down to like half of what my HP used to be, because the developers nerfed something in regards to how the HP decrease is calculated. It's sad to see the developers still focusing on nerfing things rather than buffing things that don't work. Obviously they don't want their players to have fun playing their game, which is a shame. Alright, he should die now. So, what was I talking? Oh, I had to do this bounty hunt. Let's do the bounty hunt now. I'm gonna remove the damage numbers because I just don't like that much text on the screen. Oh, and I forgot to start doing some projects. I mean, yeah, we have to do projects, but I keep forgetting about them.
Greetings, my lady. There are caravans standing by. Give the word, and I'll prepare a security detail.
Let's get goat. I need some affinity.
Oh, you're back.
Back for more? Happy to be of service.
There are a number of missions being
I could
conducted.
probably start transmuting something. Have I got enough though? Have I got enough stuff to start transmuting? I don't think so. I think I need to collect a little bit more affinity. So for now, let's just do this one.
Take a look when you're ready.
So if anyone wants to group up, do some farming, let me know. And the attack speed rune on Anvil's Woe is not worth it, by the way. I'm gonna quickly go back to Anvil's Woe just to show you why. Where was it? Where the hell was it? Fuck, where did it go? Attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. This is also very nice. Reduces the rage cost of this skill is amazing. And this kind of gives you 1/5. So it gives you like 20% rage cost decrease from 126 to 101. It's definitely nice to use it. I've maximized it, you can see, for damage. This one, ignore it. This one was just me testing. This is not normally what I do. Normally I've got this one, and I think I normally have, let's say, well, the others that don't matter, I guess. Maybe this one, but normally I do not use this. This was just a temporary experiment I've been doing some time ago. So I'm not seeing attack speed. What are you? Oh, this one. Yeah, this is definitely not worth it because 70% weapon damage. And I don't need attack speed. Why? Because with my current setup, my attack speed is huge. I mean, amazingly powerful attack speed. So I would go for something like this, because first of all I get 200% attack speed score from this one. This is 150% attack speed score, and this is another 50% attack speed score when this is maxed out, and most of the time this is maxed out. Then this is another 75% attack speed score. And then I've got 20% attack speed, not score, but 20% attack speed. So with this build I get around 70% attack speed, most of the time around 65, 69 attack speed. So, I mean, I don't need it. I don't need that attack speed there. It's just not worth it when I can get attack speed without losing damage. Something that is worth testing is this one. But again, you're losing damage for AoE, and you're getting enough AoE with Anomaly and Plague Burst, and you're grouping up the enemies with Anomaly. So I think this is nice because first of all it allows you to use whitening damage. Whitening damage means you can cause shocking. And shocking is one of the hardest things for me right now to cause. So I can cause stasis with this one. I can cause toxic or fire with this one. I can do bleeding with this one. With this one, if I want, I can do holy damage, weakness. Although I do weakness with other sources as well. So with my items, I've got, you can see here, I've got, where is it? Frost damage, which doesn't matter for Immortal Offering, but this one, Frost and Whitening damage to attacks, not to spells. And I had another amulet, this one, that gives me Aether damage and Shadow damage to spells. Mark of Impurity allows me to do shadow damage stacks, cursed stacks. So if I were to not use a projectile build, I would change to this amulet. When I'm using projectiles, I change to this amulet. It all depends what you're using. I mean, you have to be flexible. So when I'm not using projectiles, I would probably use this one. Fire damage to spells, fire damage to attacks, and yeah. Glitch Bomb, nice to see you, Glitch Bomb, welcome back. So yeah, if anyone wants to play together, let me know. I'm gonna keep farming Ascend at 163 runs.
I'll be here as always.
I don't mind doing 187, it's just kind of a waste of time and resources to do 187 right now. Unless you're aiming for some level up going on there for you. So this build is a little bit squishier now after the nerf. but it's still good enough. I mean, if someone is having troubles, they can always change to a double or triple golem setup, and it would work just as fine.
Gotta catch my breath.
Some bosses would be a bit more difficult to survive, because you have half of what the HP used to be before. But you can always invest into more toughness from my... fuck, I out and tapped. Fuck. Oh shit, thankfully I didn't die. I accidentally clicked outside of my my game into my browser, and yeah, for a second. This game really needs an option to walk the cursor to the game border, so that I cannot not click outside of the game when playing windowed mode or borderless windowed mode. So normally before I would have face tanked this boss, but this boss can now kill me when I play with a single golem. If I play with 2 or 3 golems, probably won't be able to kill me as easy. But losing half of my HP is a big hit to my survivability. So the thing that got nerfed with the previous patch was this thing and this thing. So those 3 nodes and this one, those 4 nodes, they reduce your HP, and the way it works right now, I used to have 59,000 HP, now I'm at 31,000. So you can see that how big of a nerf this is for me. I mean, you can still survive. You can still survive without much troubles, but less face tanking this time around. Wow, those were some useless diplomats returning without anything.
Diplomats have been awaiting your instruction.
Oh, yes. Sometimes it's best to play it safe.
By the way, how is my game audio versus my volume, versus my voice volume? Because it's weird, sometimes I hear my game too loud and I start speaking loud myself. Sometimes I hear the game super quiet, like just now I could barely hear what the NPC was saying, but when I'm in combat it seems like I'm hearing a lot more, and it's weird because the dialogue is kind of increased. Weird. Alright, never mind, let's apply. Let's sell the stuff.
Hi, customer. Welcome to my humble stand.
Did they make changes for uniques or any changes? Haven't played Wolcen for months. I find the sound balanced. Alright, yeah, they did make changes, not much change, but they added an extra tier on the uniques. I'm gonna quickly demonstrate it if I can. I think I deleted my high level uniques, but just let me quickly check. So uniques used to be up to level 60, not 60, up to level 40-35 required. Now you can get uniques that require level 60. Some, not every unique, but some uniques require level 60. So let me quickly show you a difference between a level 40 and level 60 unique. See, this is 255 force shield, this is 655. Which is basically at the bottom 250 and here at the bottom 555. Then 25 toll attributes, 55 toll attributes. The rest is the same. So this is just one example. So in the past 4 patches they have been boosting uniques bit by bit in batches. Not every unique got boosted, some remained the same, but a lot of them did get boosted. So the problem is the drop rates are still shit. I mean, I could spend 4 hours without getting a single unique, and then within half an hour I would get 5 uniques. How is this good drop rates? Explain to me. I mean, I shouldn't need to do more than 10 maps or more than 7 maps to get a unique item. Anything past that is just pure fucking greedy on the developer's side, and it's just frustrating when the game is not rewarding you for spending your time playing the game. If I didn't want to get rewarded for playing my time, I would play an MMO where you need to sink hundreds of hours to actually gear up for a certain build, and even hundreds of hours wouldn't be enough. You might need 1,000 hours in an MMO to get the best possible gear for that class. And I don't think hack and slash ARPGs need to be like that. And uniques, as we know, are not the best gear in the game. Legendaries, min-maxed legendaries, in most cases would be much more useful than uniques. Uniques are only for some weird builds. Uniques are kind of build opening, but they were super weak, and right now they're not that much stronger. So there are still some pieces that people would probably never wear or equip. Unless they really want to try a build that is for a bit weaker content. But the developers, you gotta give them credit. They are slowly and steadily improving the game. I'm not sure whether those baby steps would help. And I keep saying every time I stream the game, the developers seem to be scared, or I don't know.
No.
They seem to be scared to make something overpowered. And I don't understand why they are scared to make something overpowered when they have already stated that there will be seasonal content in the game. So all the progress we make right now would kind of become useless once they release the season leak or whatever they want to call it. So now is their perfect time to experiment with making the weak skills stronger. I mean, very strong. Experiment, make something super overpowered for a week or two, then nerf it if it doesn't, if it's too powerful. But let people see the skills that are super weak become stronger, so they can experiment with some more build variety. If it's too overpowered, fuck it. It's gonna be useless when they release seasonal content, because everyone would be starting over anyways. So think of it as an open beta maybe, that's what they should do. Consider this as an open beta, there aren't that many people playing the game now. So use the few little players playing the game to help you improve the content and rebalance the game. Be bold, that's my advice to them. Be bold, don't be scared to make something overpowered. It's not like there's competitive yet in the game, so even if something is overpowered, you can always nerf it a couple of weeks later with the next patch, so it's not a big deal if someone becomes too overpowered. I mean, they already dropped the ball on Bleeding Edge being super overpowered when the game launched anyways. They said they need 4 months, and that was like a month ago or a month and a half ago. They said they need 4 months before they start adding new content. So let's say they have 2 more months. Within those 2 more months I would really love to see the weak skills properly boosted. Not like what they did earlier, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. They attempted to boost some skills, but it was a very bad attempt. A very bad attempt, because the skills barely got an increase in their damage, maybe like 10% increase in the damage, and the skill was still barely doing more than my basic attack. In fact, in some cases, some of those skills that were supposedly boosted were doing damage equal to my basic attack, which was beyond me how a skill would be doing less than my basic attack when I'm not even using things that boost my basic attack in my items. I mean, I'm using things that boost all my damage, but not anything that basically specifically boosts my basic attacks in my builds. The game, when it released, it was better, yes, I can agree. The game was rushed. They probably are more aware than us that they rushed the game. They did not expect at first, they didn't expect that many people to be playing the game on launch. They didn't expect the success followed by the opposite of success afterwards. So they didn't expect more than 600,000 copies sold in the first 2-3 days of the launch.
I need
And
more
they
power.
didn't expect to have that much bugs in the game, but that's all their fault. I mean, they released so much content without giving the testers, the beta testers, a chance to play it. I know why they did it. They wanted to hype out content that has never been played, something new for the launch, hype the people, get them to buy the game because there's gonna be this new content and this new thing, new story, new passives, new skills. But you don't release something without giving your beta testers a chance to test it. Even if it was a closed beta test, like on a private public test server or whatever it's called. Apart from the main release, like a separate branch. Even if they did something like that for 2 weeks before the launch, it would have saved them a lot of headaches, and it would have found a lot of the bugs that were found within the first few days of the game. But they probably learned their lesson, and that's probably why they're kind of afraid now to change too much. They've got 2 more months apparently, so we'll see whether in 2 months the game would really be ready for new content, or it would still not be as balanced as it is right now. I mean, the game can still be amazing as a single player campaign, or even as a co-op, as a campaign experience. If you leave the end game on the side, if you only focus on the story and the game as a story, as a campaign, if you focus on that, it's good. Things are balanced, but when it comes to the end game, you see how much disbalance there is between certain abilities and others. So the story is not something too great, but it's still a nice story. I actually enjoyed the story in Wolcen. I still think if they did what they did in the alpha, the game would have been better. If they went the route that the alpha stage was headed, having an open world and being able to explore it and being able to just walk from one part of act to another part of the same act without even using a single waypoint, it would have been great. Would have been great. Still having waypoints, being able to traverse, but being able to start from my town, exit the town through the gates without a loading screen, and just walk into some zones, side dungeons, etc. The same way it is in Titan Quest and Wolcen and so on. Not Wolcen, but Grim Dawn. Because the game really was better back then in this regard, where it had like that open world. Back then it only had one act, so it was easy to have an open world with just one act, which was not even completed one act. And it was completely different. The whole story was so much different back then. And I understand they wanted to change it to something that would be easier and faster to develop. They went the easy route, they salvaged so much of the important mechanics that made the game what it was. I mean, I said it last time I was streaming, probably the last few times I was streaming, but back in the alpha you had that system where if an enemy was standing in water, like in a lake or a river or whatever, some shallow water, and I would to use like a lightning skill, like Thunder Strike, that enemy would be taking more damage due to conductivity being a part of the game system. So it had some nice mechanics like that. And this was the main reason why I actually wanted to buy the game, because I believed it would be a next-gen MMO, no, next-gen, not MMO, but hack and slash online co-op game, where you have some sort of thinking to do and combine different effects on the enemies, like get toxic damage on an enemy, then do fire and make an explosion and things like that. Maybe freeze an enemy, hit him with lightning and have him shatter into pieces, damaging nearby enemies. Things like that, that's what I was expecting from the game. Of course, things like that would have taken much more development and man hours and money to invest into that. And if they were to maybe invest the money they made into maybe
Please,
reworking the
look
game
around.
into
I'm
something
sure you'll
like
find
that,
something that takes your fancy.
it might be an amazing thing to have, like eventually in a year or so from now, to have the game being closer to what their original
You
idea
know,
for the game
Mojave
was.
is always the best
For now, I
guide.
think the most important thing would be rebalancing everything, opening up new builds, and then eventually adding more endgame content like a survival mode similar to the Crucible in Grim Dawn. Maybe something that's like the bounties in Diablo, where you go in the story mode zones to farm materials for crafting, where probably wood doesn't drop as much, but you get more crafting materials like reagents and gems and Genesis stones and things like that. Something like that would be nice. I mean, I've got many ideas I could give them regarding endgame modes, but I'm kind of sure that they won't listen to me. They won't listen to those
Hello there,
ideas.
friend. Please,
And I'm pretty
browse
sure
my
they have some
wares.
ideas. If they said that they were planning on some more content updates 1 month after the game launched, and now they push that back by 4 months, then they do have some sort of ideas. They do have ideas about seasonal content that would make people return every few months. I think the mandates is the thing that's completely useless in the game,
Come
and
back
they really
soon.
need to
I'll be
rework
here
that
as
to work
always.
similar to bounties in Diablo, where you go and teleport into the zones from the story and kill some enemies from the story, some named enemies and bosses, etc. We need basically what we need is something similar to Diablo 3, where you can use the waypoints and teleport to the story zones and have enemies respawning in those zones and just basically be able to do some farming there if you're bored of expeditions. And they can tie the mandates to be similar to the bounties in Diablo, where you have to go in zone X, kill enemy Y, and just get some sort of a reward that you can open to give you, for example, crafting materials, gems, reagents, and Genesis stones, which are also probably gems. Hello Spawnless, nice to see you again.
The
How's the
Dark
streaming going for
Rapids.
you, dude? You said you
Never heard
started
of it.
streaming. What
Our
games are you
diplomats
streaming,
are awaiting
Spawnless?
your orders, my lady.
By the way, who here would be playing Minecraft Dungeons next week?
What
We
do
can
you
maybe
wish
make
my
a
contacts to
party
find for you this
and go
time,
through
my
the
friend?
zones together.
Oh, seeker expeditions.
I've
I
watched
thought
some
you were here
people
for that other
streaming
thing I do.
Minecraft Dungeons, and I kind of have an idea about how the progression is. And it's definitely gonna be probably better to play it with someone
Should
else
be simple. Don't expect anything too
in
spectacular
the
though.
team. Twitch chat. Your setup is so bad, don't know what you're doing. Just fix chat for in-game. Well, what's your setup? Basically, all I need to know is your GPU, CPU, and RAM, and I can tell you kind of. Oh, and internet speed, your upload speed, and I can tell you kind of what settings you might wanna configure. Also, what software are you using? Are you using OBS? Are you using Streamlabs OBS? Are you using Stream Elements OBS? Or are you using some of the other software like there was one more. You're using OBS, okay. Streamlabs OBS, okay. I used to use Streamlabs OBS as well before. Now I'm using Stream Elements. Basically, if your video is stuttering, try using 720p 60 frames per second. If that doesn't help, try using 720 30 frames per second. Uh, and anything below that is a bit too bad. So yeah. Also bitrate. For bitrate you have to assign specific bitrate. I can tell you what I'm using right now. Right now my streaming setup, just to give you an idea, with I think my upload speed is 40 megabit per second, my download is 80. So I'm using 5800 bitrate, keyframe interval 2, and I'm using 1080p 60 frames per second, or maybe I'm 59.97 frames per second. Actually it's 60 frames per second. This is what I'm using, and for my upload speed that's more than plenty. But on a crappy PC, just reduce the bitrate, and if needed, go 720p. Also, if your CPU is bad, use NVENC so that the video card would handle the encoding. The problem is some games like Wolcen don't work very great on mid-end and low-end PCs. Although my PC is mid-end, and I can stream it okay, so I guess it's not that bad. But on lower end, older PCs, Wolcen is not the best for streaming, but some less demanding games would be perfect. Alright, let's keep farming. Again, if anyone wants to join me, let me know, we can team up. Root foxes, not better. Not better, I mean, some things are better, but it's still the same. The changes are barely noticeable. In the game right now, there's some changes that you can barely notice. In fact, I got nerfed badly. My HP was 59,000, now I'm down to 31,000 HP. So losing almost half of my HP with the final patch that nerfed those 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes. Those nodes were one of my 2 sources of survivability. So main survivability is this and this for me. Those are the 2 things that help me survive a lot. And the way they are calculating this HP loss is different now, and that means my HP got super nerfed. I can still survive though.
I need more power.
Give it 2 more months. If in 2 more months the game is not balanced and they start pumping new content without rebalancing the game, then I would consider giving up on it. So I'm gonna give them 2.5 more months until they say they are gonna be releasing new content. So when they start releasing new content, if by then they haven't balanced everything, there's plenty other games. I've got Torchlight 3, I've got Minecraft Dungeons, I've got Chaos Bane, and if I want to, I can always go back to Grimdown. I mean, Grimdown right now is the game with the most endgame diversity apart from Path of Exile. But the endgame in Grimdown I enjoy more than the endgame in Path of Exile. So any RPG fan is probably at some point played Grimdown. If they haven't, they should at least check it out. The one thing you can do is you can download a cracked copy, play the game for a few hours, for a couple of days. If you like it, buy it. That's what I like about cracked games. If someone is not sure whether they want to purchase a game, they can always download a cracked copy, test it, see if they like it, without wasting money on it. But I think if you find Grimdown discounted, it's a steal for the amount of content you can get and the expansions and so much stuff you can do, that so much build variety in Grimdown. I mean, right now Grimdown is the thing I would recommend the most to hack and slash players. And most of all, mods. You can play Diablo 3 Masteries, you can play Titan Quest Masteries, you can play a Diablo 2 conversion mod that basically is you playing Diablo 2 in the Grimdown engine. So there are so many mods in Grimdown, quality of life mods, conversion mods, there are so many things. I mean, what more is there to a game like that? What more could you want? Active modding community, active vanilla game community, developers constantly pushing out rebalances, tweaks, changes, updates with new content, new quests, new bosses, new nemesis enemies, new types of stuff to do. And also there is a way to skip through certain things. What I didn't like before was I needed to level up, and I didn't like leveling up a new character from 1 to 100 before. Now this is much easier because there are certain items that you can buy on your outs. You can buy those and give them to your outs, and you can use those items, and they kind of skip you through the story and progression. And the only things you need to farm are devotion points, which you can farm in an hour or two, and just going through all the waypoints on the map and getting those devotion points. But you're getting all the quest rewards and things like that, if I remember correctly, when using those things. And I think that's from the final expansion, the desert one, Shattered Realms or whatever it was called. From that town there, the NPCs sell those items, which are kind of like helping you make an endgame only character that you don't want to do a repeat of the story on. There's also secret quests and things like that. There are secret bosses that you need to do certain things to challenge them. So there's a lot of stuff to do in the game, and the amount of content on YouTube for builds is so nice. So if you're wondering, oh, what am I gonna do, I don't know anything about Grimdown, you can always watch someone's video. I only have one video and it's pretty old, so I'm not making content for Grimdown just because I just am bored of playing it, because I've played it for so long since the early alpha game days. In fact, before I had Grimdown on my own Steam account, I was playing it on my brother's account. Ever since the early alpha game days, because he bought it very early, when the game was still in alpha or post-beta, whatever it was called, early access on Steam.
I need more power.
So across my account and his account, the amount of playtime I've got on it is so much. On my account I probably don't have that much, actually. And by the way, I have two accounts. This account of mine is just for streaming purposes. I have another one which is the one that owns Grimdown, and I'm playing game titles from my other account on this one without having to buy them. But the hours accumulated, this account doesn't show the amount of time I spent playing on the other games on the other account. So for example, here it says just a few hundred hours on Wolcen, but it doesn't show the other few hundred hours I spent on my main account. But I think the game I've spent more time playing than Grimdown is Torchlight 3 or Torchlight Frontiers. I have more than 1,000 hours accumulated streaming time. And if you add up the non-streaming time, where I'm making builds, recording footage, I'm surprised how I ended up playing Torchlight 3 for more than 1,000 hours. And it's not a release game yet. You can kind of see how much I love Torchlight 3 or Torchlight Frontiers as it used to be. Even when it was alpha and it was very limited and very whacking, I was still streaming the hell out of it and playing it. Right now I'm waiting for Torchlight 3 to do some more rebalancing on the highest difficulty. Right now the highest difficulty is still a little bit too difficult in some cases, in some boss fights. Some boss fights are kind of near impossible to do in Torchlight 3 on the highest difficulty, unless you have super maxed out build with everything into survivability as enchantments and stuff like that.
Not possible.
So as you can see, I'm much squishier now. I'm pretty annoyed that they nerfed my survivability that much. This was such a nice build and they had to fucking nerf my survivability by lowering my HP by half. I'm not sure why Wolcen developers have such a fetish for nerfing stuff. It's like they wake up every day and they're like, oh, what am I gonna nerf today? Let's make the life of our players harder today. Let's have those plebs using non-meta builds suffer.
I mean, I'm sure something happened while you were gone. What that is, I couldn't tell you.
I'm not sure what was so overpowered of those skills that they decided to nerf it to oblivion. Last epoch, no news. When it's ready, probably next month. Probably in June, maybe early June. This is just me guessing. I mean, you can check on my Discord channel in the Last Epoch news. I'm feeding from the official Last Epoch server there. All the social media posts and game update news, etc. If you're not joining the official Last Epoch Discord, but you can try and ask. I doubt you're gonna get an answer if you go in the official Discord and ask them,
Come in.
but I'm
There's
assuming
no need
few
to be
weeks
shy.
more
We go
until
way back, no?
078 hits Last Epoch. I really would
No,
prefer it
this
to
one
not
will
come
be
out in the same week
stand
when
a
Minecraft
chance.
Dungeons
Ah,
comes
welcome.
out. So hopefully it doesn't
Was
come out
there
next week, so I can have some
something?
time
This is what they're
to
trained for, right?
play through
Exploring the
Minecraft
most
Dungeons,
perilous of
reach
places
the
and all of it in
hardest
pursuit of
difficulty in the
treasure.
game, the hardest content, do
Huh?
some
What?
do
Have
some
something you'd like
beginners
to throw
guides
in the
and
forge?
some maybe build videos if I find items that I think are worth making a build video for, like a nice synergy. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna be ready to move on to something else for a bit. But I've got plans, I've got
Mojave
plans.
is always the best value.
I've been spending some time on After Effects and reworking some titles, preparing for Minecraft Dungeons to launch, making some new typography animations. It's basically me editing templates, but it's still it still takes some time to edit them the way I want to export them for motion graphics for Premiere and so on. This is actually a pretty nice ring. HP,
Bobby is a
casting
decent
speed,
man,
resistance.
but even
The
that
problem
has
is
its
casting
limits,
speed on a ring
yes.
with damage to attacks. It's only good for hybrid builds. Still not better than what I'm wearing. Frost whitening, elemental damage, crit. Yeah, not better. $231 hours in Wolcen. Let me check how much I've got on this account. On this account, on Wolcen, I've got 515 hours. And that's on this account. Consider me and my playtime on the other account another few hundred hours. And on this account, let's see, where is Grim Down? Grim Down, update required. On this account I've only got 108 hours on Grim Down, but as I said, this is an account that hasn't played much of it. My main one has played a lot of it, And then there's my brother's account as well, on which I've played a ton. I made this account just so I can share it to people to add me
Greetings,
when
my
we play
friend.
together on
How may
Steam.
I help
I didn't want to share my main account in case someone decides to hack it and do some shit to it. So I decided to just
Got
make
everything you need?
some
Excellent.
account like this
Come back
one, a
soon.
dummy account that doesn't own most of the games I play and rather borrows the games from the other one's library via Steam's feature to share games between accounts as long as it's on the same machine. Pretty nice feature, by the way. I'm so happy that Steam has such a feature. Family mode or whatever it's called.
Tell your friends. Mohabis stand in the...
There you are. Our
Let's get
diplomats are
random
becoming
armor.
restless. Perhaps you have a mission for them.
Welcome
So
to the
far,
Purple
since I started
Fields.
streaming, not a single unique drop. Unfortunate.
It can't be done.
Yeah guys, be ready for Minecraft dungeons, we can farm some stuff together. I think the itemization and progression system is amazing, and the whole system of what you wear is what you are is perfect. It's just exactly what I like to be. I wear this weapon gives me access to skills A and B. I wear this armor, it allows me to be more of a ranger. I wear that armor, it allows me to be more of a mage. So it's amazing to have something like this as a system. And to be able to enchant your items and upgrade the skills that those items give you. And if you outlevel an item, you can salvage it and you get back all the enchant points you invested into it. So it's totally worth upgrading upgrading low level items until you get the high item power items. You can just salvage the legendary you no longer need, get the upgrade materials, get the enchant points back, and then upgrade the new item. And the whole system of being able to play with veteran players if you're a newbie and gear up within a few minutes of playing together, it's also amazing. Oh, it's the zoo! It's the zoo. All the old boys are here. We've got the old boys crew here. The weird build crew old boys in the stream chat. But yeah guys, who else is excited about Minecraft Dungeons releasing next week? I know for sure I am. I might be a little bit overhyping myself for the game, but that's how I am. I always overhype myself before a game launches. And as doing so, I end up overhyping the game for others who are probably watching me stream and talk about it. Minecraft Dungeons, it's not Minecraft, it's not the real Minecraft, it's a hack and slash. If you don't know it, look it up, man. You're definitely gonna see something great about it. I never liked the whole Minecraft thing either, but Minecraft Dungeons seems amazing. I mean, if you look past the fact that it looks like a Minecraft voxel game, if you look past this thing, if you can ignore this thing, if that doesn't bother you, it's one of the more original ARPG hack and slash games out there. Let's hope I can survive here. I'm gonna quickly give you a link to a video. I'm gonna share it for everyone. Just let me quickly find it. Minecraft Dungeons. I just want to check whether that's the review video. No, that's not it. Fuck. Okay, just a second. I'm pretty sure there was one big video where the developers were playing It was from XCon or something like that, some Xbox, Microsoft, some sort of convention. Let me see if that's it. Oh yeah, that's the video. All right, let's share it. So, putting the link in the chat for everyone. Watch this video and then you're gonna know enough to decide whether it's the game you wanna play. Yeah, I know many people would not like the whole Minecraft vibe, and that's completely normal. I mean, it's not art style that everyone would like. Even then, Minecraft itself is the most successful game ever. It's the game that has sold the most copies ever. That doesn't mean Minecraft Dungeons would be as successful as it, because it's just different type of playstyle. What makes Minecraft what it is the ability to express your creative side. So that's probably one of the main reasons why Minecraft is successful. It allows people to express their creativity and just be in that sandbox type of world and create whatever they want to. Minecraft Dungeons, on the other hand, is just using that art style, that world, the enemies from the other game, but putting it into a top-down isometric hack and slash ARPG setting. It's definitely something amazing as a system, as a progression system, as a itemization and skill system. How boring it would get remains to be seen. How boring the endgame content running the same map over and over again would get remains to be seen, but they're using semi-procedurally generated maps. So basically, the same way Chaosbane is doing it, for an example, each map is divided into blocks. So let's say this is block number 1, this is block number 2, this is block number 3, block number 4, block number 6. So they have some blocks that are fixed, so the map always starts from this block and always ends on this block, but in between you have different pieces of a puzzle which are always randomized. So it's procedurally randomizing what pieces of the puzzle are stitched together in between, in the middle. So that's still getting a little bit of diversity to how a map would look. I'm thinking Wolcen is probably using something similar. This looks like one piece that can be generated and it seems to be stitched to this piece. So most games nowadays do it that way, so that you still have some randomness to the layout. Oh, to give the pet a pet. Sky, where are you? Oh, I just woke him up. It's been very warm. Those past few days we had 30-something degrees temperatures in my city, which is unusual for May. Normally that's July and August temperatures, and we had those in May. And just a few weeks ago we had super cold weather, like close to the 0 temperatures. Not too close, but still close to it. So it's something weird, like from super cold suddenly switching to super warm. So first of all it was too cold for the month, then eventually it ended up being too warm for the month. There was like a heat wave coming from probably south west or southeast. Like a super fast strong winds. So my pet, why I was telling you this is just to tell you how my pet has been just like he's lying on his bed, then he gets too warm and then he lies on the cold floor, on the in the corridor, in the hallway. He's lying down on the cold floor, then he comes back, lays down on his warm bed, and when he gets too warm he goes again on the floor to chill, to cool down a bit. So right now he's in the phase where he's on his bed, I guess. Where are the damn uniques? Come on, game. I know you wanna give me a Quilt Tuck. I really wanna test the Quilt Tuck spin to win ice build with the Soul's Bane. I wanna test the Soul's Bane and a Quilt Tuck setup. It's gonna be super glass cannon probably, but it's gonna be 100% crit chance. Without me needing to change my accessories to give me freeze. Because the weapon itself gives me 97% freeze chance, which would result into 97% crit chance. And I just need a Quilt Tuck, high level Quilt Tuck, because I've got the WoW level 1. I really need a level 60 Quilt Tuck to test this this setup. The cold spin to winner. You know me and my my affinity to spin to win builds. I really wanna try this in Wolcen, so I really hope I can end up getting this fucking armor finally. It is a level 60 item. By the way, there's mods. Right now there's Wolcen mods that increase the wood chance, the magic find. There's also a mod that allows you to purchase unique items from the NPC. So from the NPC in the town you can buy unique and legendary items only. There's one mod like that. I never installed mods, but I'm considering installing mods and starting a new offline character, because I lost my old offline character. If anyone has a level 80 offline character that they're willing to share with me, or 70 something offline character, I would be very grateful, because when I reinstalled my Windows I lost my offline character, so right now I have none of those, and I can probably install a mod to play it offline just to check some builds, to experiment with some builds in the offline.
It's not possible.
Where it would be easier to get the unique items. Gotta keep spinning, yeah, you know it. Although right now I'm playing the Rocket Man, the Rocket Man build, but that doesn't mean I'm not a spinny boy at heart. What's here?
Not possible.
No uniques still.
I can't do that.
Oh, interact. Alright. Alright, let's go kill the boss now. Oh, it's an All-Store boss. Actually, I need to get my pet here. Come on, pet. Stay here. I need the pet to stop cock blocking me. I'm trying to get the monsters to come where the boss is, so I can get them to explode next to him. Really need more changes to pet behavior. Being able to tell my pets, attack this target only, move here on my cursor location, be more aggressive, be more defensive. Pets really need a serious rework. With stances and a pet attack button or a pet move button, something like that. Oh, look at that! It's our. Oh, nice. Thank you, moderator, for thank you, Zizu, for blocking this guy and banning him. Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna clear my on-screen chat as well. So just a moment. Let's refresh my chat. Refresh cache, current page. Okay. There we go. Nice, nice. Good job, good job. Really appreciate that. The Ben Hammer. Wield it with power. Don't be afraid.
Tell your friends. Mojave stand in the palace district.
Bots will be bots, man. Bots will be bots. They will be spamming. Sometimes they actually come again. So the last few times I saw those coming, after they came, after one bot came, shortly afterwards there was another one. Maybe that's gonna be the case today. And I've noticed when I play some less known titles, they don't go. But they've probably been programmed to go after games when they're popular. So probably when Wolcen was booming and everyone was playing it, and there were hundreds of thousands of people playing it, that's probably when they configured their bots to start going into Wolcen streams. When I play some less known titles,
Tell
they
your
don't come.
friends, Mojave stand in the palace district.
Yeah, but the worst thing is, it's the worst place to advertise this thing. Because yeah, probably some sort of streamers would go ahead and provide their financial info, which is stupid. To provide your financial info to some dodgy websites that give you views. But
Welcome.
who's gonna read this? It's gonna be my viewers who's gonna read their message. And my viewers don't need views because my viewers are not streamers. But yeah, they probably go after small streamers because most of the time they don't have moderators to ban them. And they might be busy killing a boss or something like that and they can't immediately pause. Yeah, I guess they should aim for medium size streamers where the chat is not constantly spammed and you can barely see the messages. Something like that. I don't even know how big streamers do it. Manage to keep their eye on the chat when there's like hundreds of messages every few seconds. It definitely would be easy if you have a second monitor, and they do.
Please look around.
But yeah, if you
I'm
go
sure
for
you'll
medium-sized
find
streamers,
something that
there's gonna
takes
be
your fancy.
much more people seeing this. In fact, there's a higher chance of other streamers being there. Whereas on my stream, chances are there won't be that many other streamers anyways. It's just gonna be me. Right now what I need the most is YouTube subs. I'm trying to get 1000 YouTube subs. It's a long journey. I've already been making content for a year. And I know there's many easy ways of doing subscribe for subscribe, but that's not who I am. I'm not gonna be getting fake subscribes just so I can get YouTube partner. Slowly and steadily my YouTube channel is growing, and hopefully when I grow it to partner, then I can actually turn it into something that could get me some some help with paying the bills and living expenses. For now, the streaming, I'm not relying on the streaming as a profit right now. It's more about trying to get YouTube to be a good community, to have that content making going on. And speaking of YouTube subs, someone just subscribed on my channel, Palinkas Doru. Welcome to the Struck Club. Thank you for the follow and hope you enjoy your stay. And yeah, expect some content tomorrow. Expect this build I'm playing released tomorrow. Because some people showed interest in my Wolcen builds and were asking me if I've got viable builds on my channel. I'm gonna make this as a build video tomorrow, so expect that getting released as a build video tomorrow. And next week, when Minecraft Dungeons launches, expect me to make some stuff like a beginner's guide overview of the game first. First I'm probably gonna make like impressions video with what I think about the game and stuff like that. And then after that, when I get more experienced, figure out some of the stuff, the end game, level up enough, then I'm probably gonna make a beginner's guide. I never want to try and rush content and release it before the others. I just do it whenever I'm ready to do it. So it might take me a while, maybe not everything could be next week, maybe the week after. But yeah, Minecraft Dungeons really seems like the game that would hold me for a while. And I'm hoping in June Warhammer Chaosbane would release the survival mode, the Tower of Chaos. And I'm really hoping that soon Torchlight 3 would remove the NDA, so me and the other content creators who have been waiting for this would start making content for the game too. By the way, if anyone wants to play Torchlight 3, hit me up, let me know when, and I can group up with you and we can do some playing together. I can make a new character, we can start together and level up characters. We can even use the cheat NPCs. The game has cheat NPCs that allow you to skip certain parts of the story in Torchlight 3. So if you don't feel like doing the story and just want to skip to the end game, if you can even call it end game, that's it. I'm not allowed to say much, but recently I was in a focus group about endgame in Torchlight 3. And all I can say is they have good ideas about reworking the current endgame. I'm not gonna reveal anything, what sort of endgame they're adding, but I can tell you they have some good ideas. And they're thinking about what players would be able to do once they finish the story. And their idea is super nice. It's super nice and it's gonna replace the current endgame, which you might not even call it endgame, the current map work system is gonna be replaced by that. I think by saying this I'm not spilling the beans, but they invited me and some other content creators and the moderators of the Discord channel to a focus group last week where they previewed this feature to us and asked us for feedback. And I can tell you I'm so glad that they did that with us. They definitely targeted the right people, the people who make content for the game and who stream the game or have streamed the game, and people who are moderators in the Discord and have played the game a lot. So they definitely invited the right people for this discussion. And I'm happy when the developers are doing something like that. Before releasing a feature, they're asking the people who have spent a lot of time playing their game for feedback, whether they like it, what they do, what they don't. This is how development needs to be done. This was probably a masterclass in development, what they did. So far they have always been asking the community for feedback before releasing a certain feature, and I can tell you Extra Games definitely cares about the community. If there's one thing I can be sure about, it's that Torchlight 3, the development team behind the game, really wants to make a game that the community wants to play.
Not right now.
They are kind of on a mission to do it like that. Some people would say Torchlight 3 is not Torchlight, it's not like Torchlight 2 and 1, and they're right. The game doesn't feel like Torchlight 1 and 2. It's a completely new experience, it's a new game and it's set in the same world. Many don't like it, but give it some time. The game is still in closed beta. It's still in closed beta, it's still undergoing a transformation. I'm hoping that when it's time for launch, the game would be kind of attractive to veteran Torchlight 1 and 2 players, the same way it's attractive to new players who have never played the franchise. And yeah, it's not released, it's closed beta. It has been in alpha for a while, and I think like a month and a half ago or so it transitioned into closed beta. So it's no longer in alpha, it's already in beta. I'm assuming probably 2-3 more months of closed beta and then maybe open beta around August, September maybe. If they even do open beta, maybe they won't do open beta. And they can just transition into another closed beta phase where the NDA might be lifted. We'll see. I'm pretty sure they won't lift the NDA until they've reworked the endgame, until they've added this new endgame system. And believe me, it's something fun. It is a fun system, and I gave them some ideas. Everyone actually in that discussion gave them some ideas regarding how this system might end up being better. See, if Wolcen did something like that before launching, like let's say 1 month before launching, if they invited some of the people who stream the game and make content for it into a Google conversation, whatever it's called, some sort of video conference, to ask them for feedback, what they think about this, what they think about that, and if they gave them access to a separate branch on Steam, like a beta version of the game on Steam, where they can test the game before launching and give them feedback and find some bugs and tell them, hey, this doesn't feel right, this needs rebalancing, this needs boosting, this needs nerfing, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, fix this, fix that. They would have had much smoother launch. Much smoother launch than the actual launch that transpired a few months ago.
I almost wish I was going with them.
A fine item. Thank you very much.
And it's not that difficult. I know Steam has an option where you can make a separate branch and have a beta installation of the game. From the options where you're installing the game, you can choose to participate, opt in and opt out of betas, and then you can launch the beta separately from the live version. So something like this would be great for games before releasing patches. The same way Diablo, I think, has public test servers. So before a new season launches, I think they're previewing it. At least that's what I'm hearing. I've not played Diablo in ages, so I'm not sure whether that's the case. But I know Blizzard does that. I know Blizzard does public test servers. And before releasing updates, they put them on the PTS first to get some feedback and to get some people to test the new features for them. And Torchlight 2 is amazing. If you've never played it and you have some funds to spare, and if you don't mind that the game is a little bit outdated graphic-wise, Torchlight 2 is great. It has a lot of mods. The Synergies mod is nice, and there's mod packs that include the Synergies and other ones. There are class mods. There are so many things. There are mods with transformations for the pets and whatnot. So Torchlight 2 and mods is a great combo. But the best mindset when playing Torchlight 3 is to not think of it as a game that needs to be like Torchlight 1 and 2. It's its own thing. At first, when it started getting developed, it was not even intended to be Torchlight 3. It was intended to be a completely different experience as Frontiers, but then they reworked it. So it's still gonna take a while for the game to be more of a premium title rather than what it was supposed to be as a free-to-play title before. Alright, let's kill that guy, he's almost dead.
Not right now.
What's here? Oh, I was expecting a chest to be here.
I can't do that right now. That's not happening.
Oh, and another good thing about Minecraft Dungeons would be couch co-op on the same machine. Up to 4 people can play, in the same way Chaos Bane is. You can play Chaos Bane with 4 people on the same PC or console, and the same would be true for Minecraft Dungeons. Diablo 4, on the other hand, you can play up to 2 people on the same console. I don't think PC would have couch co-op in Diablo 4, but they have already confirmed couch co-op for console in Diablo 4. I've seen screenshots of prototypes of the user interface and how it would work. 2 people accessing their skills and passives and inventories on the same machine while playing together. And that is great for people who play together with siblings, family, or whatever, or friends. When someone like invites their friends over to just have a gaming session on the console. Good news for people who like doing that.
I need more power.
Oh wow. Took a big hit from somewhere. They're so spread out on this map. I'm trying to group them up so I can kill them together.
Can't manage that.
What's this way? Have I been here? Okay, let's make a train. Let's make a train of mobs and group them up here and do this.
Can't manage that.
Fuck, my pet is cock-blocking me again. Look at that stupid pet, keeping them there. So I make a train and I'm hoping for every single enemy to follow me and to come into my AoEs, and then my pet is fucking cock-blocking me and keeping some of the enemies away from the AoEs. Pet AI definitely needs to be... We need more control over what the pet does. We need to be able to tell it, disengage, come here you shitty pet, stop attacking the enemies and cock-blocking me. Something like that. So with the click of a button, the pet should be able to move where our cursor is or attack where our cursor is. The same way we have it in other games, like Vast Epoch and Grimdown, for example. And stances where I can make my pet be just defensive without attacking and just standing next to me would be nice as well. Fuck, fuck.
That's not happening.
Okay, I can
Not
rush to the
possible.
boss now. Ah fuck, okay, I'm gonna get this because it's gonna help me kill the boss quicker. I didn't even see what it was, but it seems to look simple. Did I kill them all? Did I get the buff? Is there an enemy I haven't killed from that pylon or whatever it is, that shrine? Oh, it's weird, I never saw a buff appearing. But alright, let's say I took the buff. So let's go for the big boy.
I can't do that.
I'm gonna pull him towards where the enemies are. I'm gonna try and get as many enemies as I can and explode the boss next to them. Explode them next to the boss, like here. Perfect place. Oh, that was amazing. That ended up killing so many next to him. That went well. Much faster than the previous hour store fight.
Whoop-de-doo! You did it. Here's your fee.
Greetings, my friend. How may I help you?
See the rewards. Still no uniques. This is just my most painful experience with the game, is having to farm unique items, and there's no way to get unique items other than just looting it and killing enemies to get
Our
it.
diplomats are awaiting your orders, my lady.
Whereas you can make a yellow item to orange. So you can start crafting from a yellow all the way to orange and it's not gonna be a problem. But you can do that for uniques and it's
Come
just
in. There's no need to be
so
shy. We
bad
go
trying
way
to
back,
farm
no?
uniques
Oh, hey
with
there.
those drop rates.
I was just telling this young'un a tale from...
I mean, there's making the game balanced
plenty of
and
missions
then
to do.
there's this
Just
thing
give the
When are
where
you thinking of sending the
you
Seekers
kind
to?
of
Something
nerfing the
dangerous
drop
by any
rates to
chance?
oblivion. And the
We
worst
can
thing is
begin
it's
transmitting your
sporadic.
equipment
It's not
whenever you
always
like.
bad
Just
drop rate. Sometimes
say
I
the
would
word.
get 2 or 3 uniques in one map, and then for a few hours I
Your
wouldn't get a
patronage
single
is
one.
appreciated.
Sometimes for 4 or 5 hours I wouldn't get a single one. Then on the next day I would get some more. So weird stuff. And yeah, let's just go for the next map.
Pick me up a souvenir.
And no, I'm not rolling map modifiers,
Not possible.
and I would get better magic find with map modifiers, but this is so high that a little bit of extra magic find doesn't do much. I've actually paid attention to whether magic find really helps me, and so far I really didn't see much of a change when I'm using the magic find belt or without it, when I'm rolling maps to get magic find or without that. I'm just not seeing that much of a difference. I can probably do an untainted map next, just to see how it will be. But untainted is the one thing I don't like about this game is how they handle the whole untainted system. That whole thing is one of the things that pisses me off the most about the game. The whole untainted system with their annoying crowd controls that are so one-shotty. I'm not a fan of one-shots being a thing in a game, and things being unavoidable and things like that. When a game is one-shotty, it turns into a bullet hell, and bullet hell is not a hack and slash RPG. If I want bullet hells, I can go play Realm of the Mad King, or Mad God or whatever it was called, and then there's plenty of other bullet hell games though. Alright, let's do this. But the thing that Wolcen needs to rework the most is its armor system. Right now it's resistance, 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 and some HP of course. So apart from resistance and HP, the rest is kind of useless. And that's just putting it mildly. Right now I can have hundreds of thousands of force shield, but without resistance I'm gonna get one shot. I can have hundreds of thousands of HP, but without resistance I'm gonna get 1-2 shot. I've tested it, and if level 130 enemies can 1-2 shot someone with 250,000 HP, then just think about the 163, 187 enemies, what they're gonna do to someone like that without resistances. And I don't know, what's the point of giving people a ton of force shield and HP as an option when you're still kind of telling them, hey, you better be using resistances, otherwise you're gonna get a 1-2 shot. I would really like to see viable full force shield builds that won't get one shot at the max level content. Without resistances, without resistance helmet or chest piece, everything force shield. Or force shield and HP mixes with rogue gear and movement speed being the thing. Maybe builds that focus on dodge chance. Ooh, Shrine of Greed. Oh, baby. Let's get that. Fucking exoskeletons. The worst thing that could happen would be exoskeletons. Okay, we got 2 of them. Are there any chests I've not opened?
I can't do that.
Anyone that I still need to kill? Oh fuck, those here. Was that all? I think that was all of them. So I've got, I think it was 4 chests. So 1, 2, 3. I've missed 1 chest. I think there was 1 chest here. Oh, 4. Never mind, I've got them all. Well, let's see what Root Fox has said. To be fair, though, 187 wasn't supposed to be possible for a long time, but because of certain skill and broken passive, it was achieved earlier than they had anticipated. No, man. Even if a bleeding catch and certain other things weren't as strong, people would have found a way to do 187. They would have grouped up and they would have ended up doing 187 eventually. They would have reached it. It was not just bleeding catch and Winter's Grasp that was helping people reach 187. And if it was not supposed to be reached that quickly, why have it in the game? Why have it in the game if it was not supposed to be obtainable quickly? People would get bored eventually. I would have gotten bored if I couldn't reach the hardest content within 1 or 2 weeks of playing the game. It would have been sluggish and pointless, because we all know that end game in those games is all about doing the hard content, the hardest content you can get, and just spamming it for wood. I mean, yeah, it probably would have been nice to have that slow progression, but it's more of the same. That's the thing. The end game right now, it doesn't offer anything more other than increasing the damage and HP of the enemies. And that's boring. That's fucking boring. only getting the enemies have more HP and more damage and just more of the same. And that's one of the things I'm not a big fan of in those games. So with the whole rifting system, the whole point of it just becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. There should be just different types of mechanics. Let's say add more skills to the enemies. So the further up you go, the enemies start using more skills, and they start thinking more about positioning, and they start thinking about how to avoid your attacks, instead of them just being bullet sponges and just soaking up the damage and doing more damage. So I think that's how an ARPG needs to handle its difficulty. Rather than just more HP and more damage, to just do something that changes completely how the enemies work, that makes them behave differently. So the further you go up the difficulty levels, the more intelligent enemies behave, avoiding your attacks, positioning themselves better, doing better rotations of their skills, like using their high damage skill after a stun attack, so trying to stun you and then do that high damage skill once you're stunned, things like this. So make the AI play like a player would on the hardest difficulty, something like this. And yes, I do think the original idea was better. I said it multiple times and I would keep saying it. It's much better what they wanted to achieve in the alpha, where we had an open world similar to Grimdown, being able to just run from one end of the map to the other end of the map, and having those extra side zones where I could enter the zone, do like a mini dungeon, exit, and then just keep going on my way. It was a better idea, but they went through the easy way. They went for the fast way. They probably realized that if they were to do the game the way they wanted to, it would take them much more time and much more money, and they probably were pressed for time and wanted to just develop the game quickly, because they are probably running out of funds. That's probably one of the reasons why they might have gone the route they did. That's just me guessing, but
Greetings, my lady.
but they reworked the game from scratch. They started over from the beginning, reworking the game, scrapping the whole alpha progress for this. Whether it's for the better, it's arguable. I did like the alpha more than I liked this shit, so that's just my personal preference. This few there was one guy trolling. Back when the game was about to launch, there was a guy coming to my chat every day and trolling, but he had some good points of calling the game, saying that the game looks kind of like a mobile game in the story, where you're just moving from one point to the other and you can't go back to those story zones. So in a way he was kind of telling the truth there in this regard, that the game kind of resembles those cheap mobile RPGs where you cannot go back to the story zones.
A new weapon, perhaps?
And that's a cheaper way of making a game. So for an indie studio, I understand why they would wanna do this.
Let me guess.
But the whole soul of the game was gone. When they transitioned from alpha to beta, the thing that made Wolcen was gone, and Wolcen was just another one of those other games in the market where the unique thing was just not there. It was just doing more of what the other game studios are doing. It was just more of a copy paste of different features from different games, and the whole unique thing was kind of out of the box already. It was not there.
I can't do that.
And I actually ordered, as you know, I ordered Wolcen long ago, shortly after the Kickstarter campaign ended. and the game launched on Steam. Within the first week or two, I think I bought the game because of that, because of the way they were advertising the game would have some sort of unique interaction between enemies and the environment and different effects and having combos, similar to how in Guild Wars 2 you have different combos between applying different conditions on the enemies one after the other. I liked it. I definitely liked the alpha version of the game.
The bigger they are.
But if they stood their ground and made the game the way they originally wanted to, it probably never would have seen the light of day, because they might have went bankrupt. People might have stopped buying copies on early access, their funds might have ended, so maybe they would consider the money they made after the game launched, and maybe they would consider with that money trying to rework the game into what they originally planned. I think also the engine was giving them some trouble. I remember reading some time ago something about transitioning from one version of the Cry engine to another version being troublesome when they had to rework the game.
Not
So
right
maybe
now.
that also had to do with it, some sort of technical issues or whatever. It's never too
Not
late
possible.
to open up the story mode zones, even the way they are now, when you can't walk from one end of the map to the other and just explore the different parts of the story. Even if they leave it as it is, just being able to go back to those zones without the quest sequences being added to it. Just to be able to kind of like Diablo 3 bounties, farm those. It would still add another extra layer of difficulty. But what they need is a system that would allow us to scale those enemies. Because right now, if with that build I go into that story, and even if the enemies scale to my level, to 82, they're gonna be super easy, because right now I'm fighting 163 enemies. So basically they need, similar to expeditions, an option that would allow you to select the enemy level when venturing to do those exploration missions. So let's say they add a Diablo 3 bounty system, they would need something like the Torment levels or like the Chaos difficulties on Chaos Bane. It could be just similar to expeditions, before venturing out just selecting the level of the enemies. They can even copy paste the whole system of the expeditions, where you're just scrolling through different ranks, and each rank having different checkpoint levels to do. Something like that would also work. So I can select 163 level enemies and fight those and get 163 item level wood. That would work. But exploring the zones from the mission. The fixed zones, fixed layout zones.
I can't do that.
Also, their version of doing Uber bosses is super boring. Having to craft those map things, and then having to kind of get shitty wood from those Uber bosses is super annoying and disappointing. Like when you spend some time farming materials, then you craft one of those maps, then you end up doing the Uber boss, and then you get 0 wood. It's super discouraging to a player. So I think Uber bosses first need to be more rewarding. Second, they need to be more available to the players. It needs to be easier to get those spawns, because it gets boring doing expeditions over and over and over and over again.
Can't manage that
And
right
the
now.
boss fights might be that little bit of extra content that could be nice to do. So I say the best way to do it would be, let's say you're doing an expedition, and let's say you do 3 or 5 expeditions where you kill the boss. Maybe the boss drops a piece of the map. Oh, actually pieces of the map would be too much like Path of Exile. So the boss drops something, some sort of currency. 100% chance you kill an expedition boss, you get that currency. It could be whatever you call it. It could be compass. No. Yeah, it could be compass. Whatever you want to call it. Something to fit expedition. The whole expedition thing. The term. So it could be a traveler's compass. And you get 5 traveler's compasses. You can summon. You can trade those for one of those Uber boss maps. So that means every 5 expeditions you can summon a Uber boss. Or maybe even every 3 expeditions you can summon a Uber boss. Something like that would be amazing. Rather than having to craft those maps from the Stormfall interface. I mean, you can still keep that crafting of maps from Stormfall as an option, and maybe the ones you can craft there could be more difficult than the others. But it would be nice to be able to buy encounter maps for those bosses from the story. Being able to kill chapter 1, chapter 2, 3 and 4's bosses by summoning them with a map like that. And yeah, the endless dungeon idea was actually super fun. It was super fun, and they also had something like an arena where you had different challenges. That was actually the only way to get orange items back then, but the orange items weren't that much stronger back then, and they were very specific. We also had crossbows. We didn't have pistols, we had crossbows in the original, the alpha version. In that arena you had some sort of survival levels, you had boss kill levels, you had levels with traps. There were a lot of different things to do in that arena. Got this one killed. Still no uniques. Alright, let's do an untainted run. Maybe I can get some uniques out of it.
Your patronage is appreciated.
Oh, I've got some maps. I can do those as well. So it's midnight, I've got a little bit more time left. I'm gonna do one quick untainted, or maybe not so quick untainted run. Wow, when did I get another stack of those? And then I can do those maps I've got.
A second.
I didn't want to waste my affinity. I'm not happy of the affinity gains in this game. This is one of the things I really don't like, how slow getting affinity is. Even with doing those quests, not quests but those crafting things, I still don't like how quick I'm getting affinity. And having to waste 1000 affinity to summon untainted, just I don't like it. at all. It was so much easier back in the beta, where
Not right now.
where affinity, it was super easy to get, and you could get a lot of affinity by selling any aracts you can find. It felt right, and then they decided to make things harder and boring and grindy. Because fuck logic. If something is good, let's fucking make it boring and annoying and difficult, because people are masochists, so and they're bound to like our game if it's sadistically designed. But yeah, back then affinity was so nice to get in the beta. I'm not even talking about alpha, I'm talking about beta. I'm talking about one day before the game launched. Not one day, but 1 week before the game launched or so. While the beta was still going, before they shut down the servers for maintenance. I think actually the servers shut down for 2 weeks of maintenance. So back then, if you remember me streaming and playing, it was super easy to get affinity. Because all the interacts we could sell for quite a hefty sum of affinity. This was nice. I actually found myself picking up a lot of interacts back then. Yeah, it was probably a bit too overpowered, but they nerfed it to oblivion. They kind of went overboard and nerfed it by so much that right now picking up interacts is just pointless. Like, what I'm gonna pick up this interact and what I can get 100 affinity. Yay! So much.
I need a breather.
So I need to pick 10 interacts to be able to do one of those runs. And that's a lot of storage space. You can't stack those. Keep in mind you can't stack those. So that's 10 storage slots in my already limited inventory. So if that was like 500, then I would see myself picking them. Hell, even if it's 300, I would find myself picking them up.
I need more power.
And if you're picking up the same interact, it should stack. So let's say I pick up another interact Eclipse, it should be stackable. But we all know how bad things go when they work with stackable items. They kind of make bugs. so expect exploits to come if they do something like that. But I know they're never gonna do that. They don't want us to have fun when playing this game. It has been made clear over the past few months. They still focus on nerfing rather than buffing stuff, so there's that. Oh wait, chest, let's go do it.
Gotta catch my breath. That's not happening.
Shadow Blade? Alright, let's try and get some enemies around him. Wait, have I been here? No, I haven't.
I can't do that.
Ah, fucking exoskeleton. Fuck,
happening.
I'm stuck. Not sure why, but my blink didn't want to work, even though I had enough mana to cast it.
Not my bad.
A waste of my time.
I can't do that. I can't do that. It's not possible.
Fuck. Ah fuck, I out-tapped. Well, they really need an option to prevent the cursor from leaving the borders of my window. That's just so annoying. I'm like in the middle of a fight and I end up clicking outside of my game window. And yeah.
Gotta catch my breath.
Oh fuck, he died without the Shadow Blade. Oh, that worked for nothing. I was trying to kill the enemy when the Shadow Blade is next to him. Oh, that worked for nothing. Or let's find another elite. Avastor, this should work better. He's a melee character. So now I need to get the Shadow Blade to come next to me. Fuck, where is that Shadow Blade? Where did he go? Oh, he's here. Come on, Avastor. Okay, finally. Let's go to the boss fight now.
No.
Exoskeleton boss or a shield boss? Shield boss, okay. I'm gonna try and pull him where the enemies are.
I can't do that. Not happening. Not possible.
This is gonna be a tough one, because it's so difficult to get this boss to move where you want it to. And the snipers don't always stay next to him.
Not right now.
And I want the snipers to be next to him when they die. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna try and find more enemies. Come on. Need you guys to follow me to the boss. Come, come, come.
I need more power. Not right now.
What? How? What happened?
Can't manage that then.
Alright, he's half HP down.
Can't manage that.
Did he die? He did. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this this
manage
whole This whole mode, the way they did it is so fucking boring.
Welcome back, my lady.
The whole
Stormfall's
untainted
recent
stuff.
developments are ready for review.
So let's see how strong this pistol is
Hello there,
compared to the
friend.
low level version.
Please browse my wares.
Low level version of the pistol here, level 40. Let's compare. Level 40, 25 material damage. This is probably gonna be 45. Yeah, 45. The rest is the same, except the physical damage is more. It's still not much though. I mean, from 225 to 299 total physical damage. It's not gonna make it a strong one, is it? You can get material damage and flat damage on pistols, and it's gonna be stronger. Just look at this one. This is my mage pistol. This is the pistol that doesn't have a single flat damage. And then look at this one. 571. How would this one be a better choice than this one? It's what, 1 pierce to all my projectiles, 45% more material damage. That's not gonna make me pick this over that one, especially knowing that it reduces my projectile speed. Just not gonna cut it. Yeah, it's stronger, but it's not strong enough.
Thank you very much.
I'm also wondering what David Brevik might think about it. He could probably be impressed by the visuals, but the visuals is not what the game is about. Yeah, it's nice to have that eye candy, good animations, smooth smooth animations of the skills, and it's nice to have it look fancy. But when the game lacks the main important thing, compelling, engaging gameplay and a lot of variety and good balancing, when a game lacks this, eventually people stop playing it. So I'm pretty sure he probably wasn't even impressed. I haven't even watched that stream, because it was about Wolcen. I mean, if it was a David Brevik stream about Torchlight 3, or about something like Minecraft Dungeons or Diablo 4, I probably would have watched it. I probably would have watched it. And I heard something about a new studio getting formed, a new gaming studio getting formed. Is David Brevik really forming a new gaming studio with someone else? Like, I know about the It Works Below, him making that game all by himself, but is he actually working now on a new project in a new gaming studio that they made with someone else, or was that fake news? I need to try and look into it again, because I'm wondering what type of game it will be, if he really is working on a new project. We know Max Schaefer is working on Torchlight 3. So I'm wondering what the next project David Brevik would work on would be. Wait, where did the... Oh, fuck, it went there. Fuck, I lost it. See, this is another thing I don't like. Those take too fucking long to
I
kill.
need a breather.
It's super fucking annoying when you spend so much time trying to kill one of those and then it disappears. And it shouldn't be just fucking meta leading edge builds that can kill those quickly. As I said multiple times, those shouldn't have fixed state. Those shouldn't have scaling HP. They should have. So basically, it has 10 or 20 or 30 HP, and each time you hit it, you always do 1 damage, regardless how much damage your build does. Those enemies should always require X number of hits. So it shouldn't be about how much damage you do, it should be about how many times you hit it to kill it. That's how the Wealth Omens would need to be. Because right now, see, I I kept going after it, it kept running away, and it just runs away so much. And it's fucking frustrating when you can't kill one of those. And the game is telling you change your build, cause this one sucks. You can't kill a fucking Wealth Omen. I mean, Wealth Omen shouldn't be about whether your build is meta. In Diablo, even without a meta build, you can kill a fucking Wood Goblin.
I can't do that.
Let's keep moving. Nothing to see in this cave anymore. Was that a map with a lot of magic chests, or was it a map with a lot of omens? I think it's a map with a lot of omens I started, so hopefully I can get something else unique out of it.
Not happening. Can't manage that.
Later Zizu, I'm probably gonna do this map and maybe one more, and I'm gonna go watch something and rest myself.
It's not
So yeah, nice seeing you, nice chatting with you, and see you again sometime, Zizu. And yeah, for the rest that are still staying, just a little bit more. It's getting late here as well. It's getting close to the end of my stream, so maybe one more map, because I had that one other map drop on me. Did I kill it, or this one also disappeared? Fucking annoying when you can't kill a damn Wealth Omen because the game made them so fucking overpowered. Let's try and find the other one. I don't want the game to force me to playing the strongest build ever just so I can get a fucking Wood Goblin killed. Or the equivalent of one.
no.
Oh, chest.
Not happening.
Still looking for omens. I'm not even gonna finish the map. I'm just gonna kill the omens and then go back to the town and start
not
the next
possible.
map.
You can't do that.
Come on. Oh, chest, let's see. Ah, it's a skeleton, really?
Not like that.
Did I get them? Oh, just one left. Oh, another chest. But not like that. Oh, one like that even stronger, alright. Totally worth going down here.
not happening.
And the legendary helm. Alright, there should be another Weltnomen somewhere in this map. Or maybe not, maybe that was it for the Weltnomens.
Not happening. I can't do that.
Come on. Yeah, I think that's it for this map. Let's get them to kill me, so I can return to the town. And what was the next map? The next one was again Weltnomen's map. Hopefully I can actually get some wood from those this time.
What do you want?
Where did it go? I fucking lost it again. Don't escape.
I need more power.
Fuck! Seriously? This is pissing me off.
Can't manage that right now.
And there aren't any more here. Alright, let's try and find another one somewhere.
That's not.
Oh, one there.
I need more power.
I really need to change how those behave and how they work and how easy it is to kill them, or more like how difficult it is to kill them. This one, I don't know why this one died super easy. Like just a few hits and it died, whereas the other ones, so far I thought I could barely kill them. Actually I couldn't kill them before
need
they
more power.
disappeared. And the worst thing is you can't crowd control this shit. So you can't stun it, you can't swallow it, you can't vacuum it, you can't do anything to it. Alright, that one died. There should be at least one more on the map. So far 3, maybe there's gonna be a 4th one.
Can't manage that right now.
Offering shrine.
No.
alright, I think that's it for this level. Let's die and just go back to the town. No more Romans. Come on, come on. So yeah, 12:26, 26 past midnight here. It's about time I stop my stream. Tomorrow I could make I'm gonna make a build video for what I'm playing right now, because people are showing interest. So just to have something in case someone is playing the game and wants a build that can do content. I mean, it's not gonna be the meta content, the meta clearer build, but it works. It can kill stuff. It can do 187s if you want to do them. It kind of got nerfed, but it still works. You can just use 2 or 3 golems if you want survivability. You can sacrifice some of the skills. So thanks for watching, keep it cool, and until next time, goodbye.